Now for reaction to this dust-up between the Pope and Donald Trump, Bill Donahue, president of the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights. He joins us now from New York. Bill, your thoughts initially on this back and forth?
I think it's an unfortunate exchange because, quite frankly, this was a setup. Both Trump and the Pope were right in what they had to say. Let me be explicit. In the setup to the question, the reporter says to the Pope, this person is only in favor of building borders separating families. Now, Trump, to his credit, last year on Meet the Press, when he was asked that question by Chuck Todd, do you want to separate families, he explicitly said, no, that's not what we want to do. The Pope, to his credit, said, if that's what this person said. He also said, if you're only interested in building walls. So if, in fact, people reported accurately what Trump said to the Pope, and then people reported accurately what the Pope's response was,
well,
we wouldn't have this contrived controversy.
Let's do this now, and let's read it out. It's obviously in Italian, but here it is. The question: Donald Trump, in a recent interview, said you, the Pope, are a political man, and that maybe you are a pawn of the Mexican government as far as immigration policy is concerned. He has said that if elected, he would build a 25-kilometer-long wall along the border. He wants to deport 11 million illegal immigrants, thus separating families, etc. I would like to ask you, first off, what do you think of these accusations against you, and if an American Catholic can vote for someone like this? Pope Francis says, thank God he said I was a politician because Aristotle defined the human person as animal politicus. So at least I'm a human person. As to whether I am a pawn, well, maybe, I don't know. I'll leave that up to your judgment and that of the people. And then a person who thinks only about building walls, wherever they may be, and not building bridges, is not Christian. This is not in the gospel. As far as what you said about whether I would advise to vote or not to vote, I am not going to get involved in that. I say only that this man is not Christian if he has said things like that. We must see if he said things in that way, and in this I give the benefit of the doubt. That is the entire transcription.
Right, and that's exactly the way it should be. What I find striking, because the Pope laid down conditions, didn't he? He used the word if, he used the word only. But in fact, what we have here is the reporter trying to say, well, should Catholics really vote for a person like this? Now, we've been told ad nauseum that Catholics should not listen to the Pope about anything, that we're going to exercise their independence. Now we're supposed to line up single file. This was a setup on the Pope. They misrepresented what Trump has said, and now the media are misrepresenting, except for what you did. You accurately reported what the Pope said. A lot of people are not.
Bill, let me ask you this, and I know you don't speak for the Vatican, you're not representing the Catholic Church, but obviously you're very familiar with all of these things. The Vatican has a giant wall that surrounds the Vatican. And, you know, many conservatives have a problem with some of the things the Pope said beyond what you're talking about here, that he is not referring to, you know, because someone says building a wall along the southern border, a person who thinks only about building walls is not Christian. That's a problem for some conservatives.
There's nothing that either this Pope or any other Pope has ever said, nor will you find it in the Catholic Catechism. Anything where the Catholic Church says a nation does not have a right to defend its own borders. The Catholic Church is solidly in favor of that. What it is simply saying is this: that's not the end of the conversation. If somebody comes into another country illegally, can you deport him? Yes, but if that person has needs that he must be tended to, you can't act immorally and say, get out of here. You've got to take care of that person, treat him humanely. So I think what happens is that a lot of people want to make it an either-or, and that's where the misrepresentation takes place. I'm sympathetic, too. I don't want people crashing through our borders, and I think those people are right. But I have to say one other thing. It's also not right for the Trump spokeswoman, Katrina Pierson, to come out and say that the Pope inferred that anybody who wants to maintain borders is somehow not Christian. He never inferred anything of the sort, and in fact, as I said, he qualified his remarks. People want to be accurate in what they say. I commend you for being so accurate tonight.
Well, Bill, we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.